everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of the Wealth Help Desk, where we help you answer all of your finance questions. I'm CJ, with me, Michael Locke. What's up, Michael Locke?
Hello, I'm here.
We're alive.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes,
We're talking about
That's
money.
true.
And we love that.
We are talking about money, and we are talking about absolute chaos at times. But you know what? We're here.
That's right. Well, I'm glad you're here with me. I'm glad you're joining us on the YouTube side. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We are here every Wednesday morning to make sure that you get the advice you need to navigate life. And the first thing, and this is a gift from us to you that has happened, is that we're going to talk about what happens when you inherit a bunch of money, whether it's a game show, whether it's through family, whether you found a nickel on the side of the road and that is a lot of money to you. All of these require a shift in the mindset, Mike.
That is true. I mean, think about it. Anything can happen. You can have someone passes away, unfortunately. You get an inheritance of a lot of money. You win the lottery, which all of us wish we could do at some point.
Sure.
I don't know about the gambling side. That's a little, we can go different ways on it. And also you have like crypto. There's all types of things. There's so much that can happen. You can look back at like the GameStop situation that happened back in the day where, I mean, granted, it was manipulated to an extent, but you put in $1 for it and you got 150 per stock out of it. That's a win. Yeah. Right?
And a lot of times I think families as a whole sometimes don't talk about how the transfer of wealth is going to go. And it can be complicated because multiple siblings. Maybe there's a black sheep in the family. Maybe you are the black sheep. Maybe you're not the black sheep, right? Maybe you went to the gas station, got the lottery ticket, and won $100 million. And your life is going to change in those moments. Or here's another one. Maybe you played college football and you were able to acquire a spot in the NFL draft and you got drafted. And now you're going to be paid the minimum at least, right? $200K a year, which is a lot of money if you've never had any kind of money in your life. And I think a lot of these are one-time payments, right? This is only going to happen once. And so how can you be a good steward for those things? And I think it requires a shift of the mindset, right?
You know what's crazy, CJ, too, is that studies have been done and they show most people that inherit this money are broke within 3 to 5 years because they don't anticipate all the different boundaries like taxes, overspending, not planning, not figuring it out. Like there's so many different avenues that people you get the money, you want to spend it, right?
Yeah, sure.
So it's like what we need to do is ensure everyone understands what is the first thing you need to do, right? Yeah. And it comes into this situation and rules that we kind of call the park it rule, right? And it's where you get the money and you stop. You wait, right? You want to understand what's on. You don't want to touch it because I get $500,000. I want to go buy a car, right? You want to go buy something. You're like, I just got this money. I want to go spend it.
You got to
right?
celebrate in some ways, right?
Yeah. And it's like, so your mindset is set into that. And it's like, you don't need that mindset to do it. So you want to get it. You want to wait a few days. You want to be like, all right, I got this money. Let's really kind of think about it now and figure it out. Right. So it goes into a lot of different avenues. Keeping quiet's another big one. Right. So it's like, you go out and you tell everyone you got this money, everyone's going to want a piece of it. They're going to want you to go out and buy lunches, buy everything. Right. It's not great for anyone. You want to avoid that. So only tell like your spouse or tell like your closest friend that you know at first until you can kind of figure out that plan. Because that person may be able to help you be like, hey, man, figure it out before you go doing stuff. We need to make sure you're investing, you're saving, you're moving this money, right? You're not just spending it.
Yeah. I think another approach to this is very much like if you have never come into that amount of money in your life in some ways, you have to have goals, intentions with it, right? And not just like this year goal. Hey, pay off the car, pay off the house, go on a trip, whatever. You have to have, hey, what does my life look like in 30 years? What do I want it to look like? And how can this money today help me achieve those goals? Because I'm not against some short-term happiness. Like, I think you should celebrate it, right? I always want to be on Survivor. If you were watching, guys, I am your guy. I want to be on Survivor. I want to play in a Muty Idol. I want to.
He'll win it.
I want to make sure that I'm playing the social game. I want to do all that stuff. I want to be the winner of $1 million on Survivor. That's one of my goals one day. If I ever get there, we'll see. But it's one of my goals. I want to get there. But one of the things that happens when you're on one of these game shows is you win is you go home and you tell your family and you celebrate, right? You want to have a dinner together. Hey, we did this nice thing. This is amazing. This is great. And what's also great about those shows is you can't tell anybody until it airs anyway,
Yeah.
right? So you have a little bit of time to figure it out. But I think the next step after maybe that short celebration of this is amazing, this has happened, we're keeping quiet, we're finding a place to park the money that's safe, and then we need to find advice, right? Everyone thinks that like it's their job to be an expert in the thing. It's like, you're not an expert in the thing. You've not done this before. It's okay to ask for help. And guess what? You're probably going to pay a fee for that help.
Yep.
And I think that's fine. I think that is okay.
That fee will probably be less than the amount you're going to lose if you don't get that help, right?
Sure.
Because there's so many things, especially taxes, right? So it's like you go in these tax situations for this stuff and it gets insane. Inheritance is not as bad, right? Because I mean, a lot of times some of those plans may have that already built into it. You know, there's a lot of like different kind of avenues you can approach that. Of course, if you're doing an inheritance like that, it's most likely been set up by talking to an advisor somewhere to understand how that's all going to apply, hopefully. If not, I would suggest you have that conversation with somebody. Just make sure you understand how your loved ones will get everything without having to worry about going through so many different court costs and et cetera to do it, right? But then it goes into like lotteries, you go into winning events and things like that. That's where you really get hit because you have income tax that applies to it, right? Mm-hmm. And that's 35% at times. That's a lot. That hurts.
It does.
It is not going to be a fun smack with it. Same thing with crypto and any type of big stocks, big things like that. You also get hit by income taxes and also could put you into another tax bracket.
Yep.
And then that is even more of a hit in general of how it's going to impact you. So what would you suggest people should do? You say talk to an advisor and figure it out, right?
Yeah, sure.
What is your other steps you would say?
I think there's a process here that's going to require a little bit of like figuring out who you want to be and what you want to do. And so I'm going to take it back to the game show place because I watch, by the way, a lot of game shows. I mean, we're talking The Amazing Race. We got Traders. We got The Mole, like any kind of social deduction game where there's like, it's always $1 million at the end.
Yep.
Except for Beast Games. And if
I've seen the Beast Games. I also have seen you play with the Smarter Than the Fifth Grader and you guys didn't get past the sixth grade. I'm just saying.
Yeah. We played Are You Smarter Than the Fifth Grader? And that's not my game. I don't want to play that one ever again. Okay, that's not. If we're going like science, like Jeopardy, something like that. Nope, that's not me. But those guys are going to win some cash and they're going to win some prizes. So they fall into this kind of bucket. And I think what's really important is like everyone that goes on these shows always has some type of goal that they're talking about. And most of them are like, I want to pay off my debt, right? Which might be the right answer for you. It might be, hey, I own a home. I'm $500,000 deep in my home. I don't want my home loan anymore and to get rid of the 5% interest rate. Well, that might be the right answer. Right? But it also might not be because you can do other things with that money. You could, if you pretended you never got it and you say, hey, this is my retirement plan. I'm going to live my life the exact same way I have with the finances I have. I know I like my budget. I don't make a lot. I don't lose a lot. It's kind of some months are winners and some months are losers. I always say December's always our loser month because of Christmas and Thanksgiving and all the, the meals and all the things.
The holidays are always expensive.
Yeah, they get you. So like my December month, I'm losing money, but hey, every April, I am making some money. I'm putting it away because I know December's coming. And so it might be one of those things where you're going to continue your lifestyle and that money is just going to get put into the S&P 500. If you take $400,000 and you put it in the S&P 500 and you wait 20 years, I'm pretty sure you're going to be a happy camper. You're going to have a great day. And guess what? It doesn't change your life today, but it does impact how you approach retirement. And that might be an objective you have. And that's some delayed gratification right there. And I think that's really hard for a lot of folks because like I said, we're having dinner, we're having the celebration. We're going to go out, we're going to party, we're going to ball for a little bit, but really you have to know what you want to do. And I think that doesn't come overnight.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't come overnight. And also it's like, if you manage it well, you can retire earlier. Right?
Sure,
people
totally.
look in the way of like, hey, everyone else is stuck in the 65 age to effectively fully retire, but it's like you invest that money, right? And you make it so you're getting returns on it. You may be able to get out earlier and still be fine for the rest of your life.
Sure.
Right. So it's like understanding how you need to input that into it to ensure you're hitting that.
Yeah. This is also a mindset shift too.
Yes.
So like people that normally have money have a certain mindset of how they approach money and how they've saved it and what that looks like. And people that spend money normally are pretty good at spending money. And so like when you get something like this and you choose, hey, I'm going to spend this money, that's going to be an issue overall because if you just treat it the exact same way, it's going to disappear fast. Yes. And you're going to be like, wow, how did this happen so quickly? And because every dollar needs to have some intentionality behind it? Is it I'm not working, or is it you're going to follow your passion? Hey, I've always wanted to start this business. I love car washes. I want to start a car wash.
It's a crazy business to start, but hey, man, you know what you're in is what you're into, right?
Yeah, that's right. Maybe somebody wants to own a laundromat. Maybe somebody wants to do like one of those tried and true cash heavy business models that have done really, really well, right? Like nail salons or car washes, laundry, ice machines, vending machines, whatever. And so one of those businesses might be something that you're passionate about. Hey, it's a good bet. You're going to go work and do that. That's going to be your thing. But it might also be, maybe you just want to donate to a charity. You know, maybe that's your answer for what life looks like and trying to solve something. I want to give to breast cancer awareness, whatever it might be, right?
And I agree. I think it really comes down to overall planning.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So it's making sure you're paying, and summing it all up is just making sure you're paying attention of where you're doing, and don't make quick, crazy judgment changes.
Yeah,
because you got the money.
Yeah,
right. Like one of the biggest things, people quit their jobs as soon as they get the money, and it's like I don't think that's a good call. Like you still need an income source until you kind of figure out your things.
Yeah.
And it's like then at that point you're working your job and you're happier because you just know in the back of your head that like somebody yells at you or they try to aggravate you. You can leave. You're good, right?
Yep.
Like there's nothing that's going to stop you. And it's just making sure you just follow everything and make sure you're always paying attention how taxes implicating, not falling for any of these investment scams or stuff, because I don't know, but I would assume when you make that much money, especially if it's lottery or something, they're probably going to reach out because typically if people find out who won that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I would assume there's probably a bunch of like artists that are trying to make you invest into products or companies that are not going to give you a return.
I know that one of my friends who kind of has fallen into more money that didn't start with a lot of money. One of the things they were worried about was like, hey, will people treat me differently once they know the money I have? Yeah. And so like, where does your kind of loyalties lie? Because a bunch of people, the aunts and uncles show up that ask for money that like you haven't talked to in 15 years. You don't know anything about what they're looking like, but they know you have some money.
You got the money now, so now they're interested.
Yeah, now you can loan them $500, $1,000, $10,000, whatever it might be, depending on what you've won. And I think that's really hard because it changes your relationship with those individual folks.
Yes.
And it's not a good thing. I also would say just a rule of thumb for anybody, if you're ever going to give somebody money, like if you walked up to me and said, hey, CJ, I need to borrow $10,000. And I agreed, I would be like, yes, I'm willing to give Michael Locke $10,000. When I give you that loan, I should know two things. One, if the expectation is there, I should expect to not get that money back.
Yeah.
Anytime you loan money to somebody, you should expect to not get it back.
And if you are concerned about getting it back, you get a contract or you get something signed.
Yeah.
Say they have to pay you back at some point.
Yeah. Right? And I think even if you took the emotion out of that back end of like, even with the contract, you have to know the second thing is that if you can't abide by rule one, your relationship with that person will change dramatically.
Yes.
And they might not be your friend after that. They might become an acquaintance. They might be somebody that you're salty with. And you're going to have to learn the forgiveness on the back end of that, which is not great, by the way. And that's why I think when you loan somebody money, the expectation is that you'll never see that money again. And I think you have to be okay with that before you can even explore what the legal side of it can look like, because it's just one of those things where like sometimes people
just don't pay back.
Yeah, people just might not pay you back.
Right?
Exactly.
Like that's a big issue out there. I mean, I've ran into it, but I agree. I'm the same way. It's right. Like if I give somebody some money, it's like I hope they pay me back. Honestly, you want to keep a great friendship, you want to keep things happy. Sure, maybe that's the way to do it. But I also expect that you may not get it back. You may never see it again. And it's like, don't let that ruin a friendship unless it's a large sum. And it's like even then, it's like have that conversation.
Yeah.
Right. And talk with them on it, but never expect that you're going to get it back, because then you're just going to be grouchy and angry with the person in life because you're never getting it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and then going to that route, we just talked about what would you do if you got a lot of money. Now let's talk about what happens if you lose your job, right? A lot of people don't anticipate that, especially with how volatile things are now. You know, you can go in one day and HR is like, hey, come to the office, CJ.
This has happened to me
bad news
before.
for you. Get out. There's the doors. Badge, please. And then what do you do?
Yep.
Right? Like, how do you navigate? Because at that point, your entire life just got flopped upside down. Yeah. Now you have to be able to pay bills that you don't have an income paying on. But I'll tell you, they don't care. Yeah. They want their money. They're still going to come at you.
Yeah. I've been fired for more jobs than I'd care to admit. I have a kind of a trail of dead bodies of failures. I mean, I think life is about failing and picking yourself back up in some ways. And I mean, talk about the rawest emotional state is when that happens. It's hard.
Yep.
It hurts because our identity is built up so much from our day, what we do in our jobs, right? You want to be a good contributor. You want to be a good soldier. You want to be valuable for the organization. You want to be able to do all those things. And it kind of shakes you because maybe you weren't those things and you thought you were. And that's a big mental shift that hurts, right?
Yep.
Or maybe there was just layoffs. It was just an unfortunate thing. A lot of times it's not because like the company hates you and you're a bad character. It can be because of those
Downsizing
things.
is a big thing right now,
Yeah,
right? And
exactly.
Like, especially AI taking over. There's so many different items. Like I know Spectrum, my old job, before I luckily left them before it happened, but they did a mass layoff because they reorganized the whole company. They wanted to close office and consolidate, and a lot of my old team members all lost their roles for it. So let me ask you this question. You get laid off right now.
Okay.
What is your first things you're doing the first 7 days of that layoff?
So I think it's foolish to not believe that you will ever get laid off. And I think your preparation for being laid off should begin before it happens. And like, not like a mean way, but like you should just
always
know,
anticipate.
Yeah, there's a rainy day may come and I need to be able to take the steps forward. And I think the first thing that exists for that is you should have money saved for that.
Emergency fund.
Your emergency fund.
Yep.
I have changed my strategy recently on my personal emergency fund based on my level of risk that I'm willing to take in my life. It's also because of my life experience. So I'm 36 years old. I've been working pretty adamantly for the past 19 years. So I've never really not had a job for 19 years. And what's scary about it, as I just told you, I've been let go from several jobs, right? Which means this period that I normally take in between jobs is very short because I'm pretty quick to like readjust and go into the next thing, right? Because I always know that I can lose my job. I start with my emergency fund, which used to be 6 months. Now we only have a 3-month emergency fund. I found that I don't want as much cash. I like it more in the market so it can grow for me. And I normally can navigate 3 months of time pretty well. And so that's the way I've approached it. But ultimately, I have my emergency fund. So I know that like I'm not starving. Right, I can pay all my bills still for 3 months. I have time to figure this out. Day one is a day of pain. And so
or some people may be happy. It depends on how much you enjoy your job. Right?
Hopefully, if you have become unemployed, Monday is normally the best day for it, if I'm honest. If somebody fires you on a Friday, it sucks.
Yeah.
Because you take Saturday and Sunday to feel sorry for yourself, and Monday kind of becomes the new day. If you get fired on a Monday, it's so much better because you just have the whole week to kind of get yourself set up for whatever's next week.
Yeah.
The first thing I do is I normally go into any ancillary piece in my life that is a luxury that I don't need. My subscriptions, so like I might get rid of Spotify. I might get rid of just some monthly subscriptions I'm not going to use. My focus has become recapitalizing my income. I got to get my income back to where it was so I can grab that stuff.
Yes.
Any trips I had planned, any big kind of expenses that I knew I was going to take if I was going to go out to dinner or whatever, those things are just kind of getting axed. And by the way, I have a 3-month emergency fund. I don't have to axe those things. I'm just trying to build myself up.
You're proactively prepared.
Yeah, like I'm trying to like just get a little bit leaner so I can get myself into a spot where I have some flexibility. And then I think after that becomes a little bit of what do I want to do next, right? Maybe I wasn't happy with that career. Maybe I wanted to reinvent myself. Maybe I had talked to a friend a week ago that said, hey, I have this cool new opportunity and blah, 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 and I can go and explore it. But it becomes, I'm going to go find new ways to build income for myself. And I think that's different for everybody. Maybe you're a career-long person that wants to be a graphic designer. Go find a graphic designer thing. You start applying for jobs, right? You start kind of chasing that next dollar.
Well, they say it's like when you lose your job, you should make that as a full-time job to find another.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
And it's like in the first 7 days, it's like one of the biggest things my opinion, you should do is if you are getting a severance package, you should 100% understand what that severance package is going to be.
Sure.
Like,
That's
what
also
is
a great
it? What
one.
is the point? Because some of those, you may get monthly pay for X amount of months, but the moment you get a new job, it goes away. Or you can take a lump sum and it's technically would be less, but you're getting all that instead of going down that route. There's a lot of different ways these packages work.
Sure.
So you want to understand how yours works and what it allows it to align to your goals and what you are trying to do. right? And then another thing you need to do is if you are worried about finding another job is go ahead and start the unemployment process of filing for it.
Sure.
Because you may not get it and you may not be in a position that get it in time for it, but it's a long process to do. So you might as well just start it to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
Right. You don't want to wait.
And I've heard a lot of people, like, I said this at one point in my life where there's a lot of pride around not taking unemployment, and like that's silly.
I agree.
Like you're in a crisis in life. You need to take advantage of every opportunity you have to kind of get yourself back on your feet. You should apply for unemployment, and they're going to have you basically do what I was doing on day 2, which is fill out jobs, go find the new thing.
You have to show that you're applying for things. There's a lot of steps to it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hit you. Like no one's going to look at it and go, oh, this guy was on unemployment. Like that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
No one knows about that really. So it's like when you get a new job, all it is, you just lose it at that point because you show you got to start a new job, right?
Yep.
So it's like there's no negative of starting that process. And then if you don't need it, you don't need it. But at least you started it in the case you do need it, right?
Yeah.
Health insurance is another big one. Is your company keep it? You're letting you keep it for X amount of time after, or are you losing it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, because private health insurance is not cheap.
It's not.
It adds up and it gets very expensive to understand how you're going to survive with it and how you need to play your life. Like, I don't think going dirt bike racing while you don't have insurance is a good call. I speak that from one experience of one of our friends. I think he learned that one the hard way.
Yeah.
Also, another thing you can do is like your creditors. If I wouldn't do it instantly in the 7 days, I know we listed it as one of the first things in 7 days, but you can reach out to like car loans, house loans, and all of them do have hardship plans, right? So it's like if you know you can't pay it, so in the case you don't have an emergency fund, you don't have that saved up, you can reach out and be like, hey, I can't pay this right now. I lost my job. What can I do? And they do have plans to make it so you don't have to pay it for like the 2 months, and they may delay it, or they may do some different items or contracts and stuff, right? There's a lot of different options that'll help you, so you're not just not paying something and giving worse by overdue fees and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like, I mean, once again, I think this comes back into like this pride thing of like, when you're in crisis, you need to take advantage of every opportunity that exists to get you back to a spot where you are good with your family.
Yes.
And I think that's really important to take advantage of all of those pieces to do that. And then I think it's also really, really good time where I've done a lot of big career shifts. You know, I've looked at stuff and I've changed, reinvented everything I was doing. And so this is a time that's actually for me normally ends up a blessing.
Yeah.
Like every single time I've also been laid off in some way, it's been a blessing because the next thing has always been better. And that's not like,
it's also a nice mind reset, right?
Yeah.
A mind shift. Kind of just like the first few days or so of losing your job, you're going to be mad. You're going to be upset. You're going to, whatever. You may be happy because you may have hated the job, or you may have had the best job in your life and you lost it, right? But this allows you to kind of reset yourself and make it so you can do what you want to do. Yeah. And job searching is important. And you want to make that as a full-time job as you're doing it, right? So like you set a time schedule that, hey, from these 3 hours, I want to start looking for a job.
Yeah.
I need to be applying for stuff. I need to see what's happening. You know, contract work is huge right now. All the banks, a lot of them don't even hire full-time straight. They they do contract to hire, right?
Sure,
so going through a contracting firm, and it makes it a little bit easier because all you do is you give the contracting group, hey, here's my resume. They'll read it. They'll tell you, hey, it's great, or hey, you need to change X, Y, Z. And then they'll start applying everything for you. They'll send you like, hey, I got this one, I got this one, I got this one. And you just like, yeah, send it, right? And they handle that whole process for you, setting up interviews. And it just makes it a little bit easier. And then hopefully you get a contract to hire where you work 12-month contract, but 10 months in, they're like, hey, we want you, right? And you get into it. Or you may get 2 months in, but like, I don't like this one. I want to go for something else. And they can work with you to get another position.
Yeah, I think part of that too is like there's a little bit of a game to get hired. And part of that is the interview process. And I don't think a lot of people put their eggs in one basket. And I say that like they find one job that they really, really want and they get the interview for and they go through the interview process. I don't think that I have found, me personally, I forget the interview game when I'm not in it.
Yes.
And so like there's pieces of it that I remember, but I'm not like fully refined. So like I actually prefer finding a bunch of jobs I know I can get like instantly. Going through the interview process so I can kind of remember my talking points. Yeah. Who am I? What am I trying to portray to these folks? Because I think that that's part of the game where people want to see the right answers to the right questions so that they know who you are in a lot of ways, right?
In every interview, you should take that as a learning to how you better yourself for the next interview, right? Because it's the chances are if you've been in a job for 6 years, you probably haven't done like an interview concept, like have any of that type of situation.
Yep.
And so like your first interview trying to find a new job, it's probably going to be rough. And you're probably going to feel like it's rough and it's not great, right? And you may not get that job because of that. But
Sure.
understand, you need to take that, go, okay, this is how I need to do better. This is how it needs to happen. And don't even go to be afraid to email that person and be like, hey, I was just curious what we thought, how my interview went. How can I do better? What can happen? Right. A lot of times people provide feedback, be like, hey, you just need to do this a little bit more. Now, have to be after the job you get told you don't get
Sure.
the job, right?
Yep.
But take that, learn it, so then you apply it to your next one, so you can guarantee that you get the opportunity.
Yeah. My favorite interview question to end with is there any reason today from something that I've said or my experience that would lead you to not want to hire me for this role?
Yep.
Because it like makes them say that thing,
Yes.
because a lot of times you get a non-answer in the back end of it. But if you ask that question at the end, one, it shows that you're self-aware enough to be like, hey, maybe I said something that you misunderstood and
Yep.
I can correct it, right? To say, hey, this is what I actually meant by that statement. It doesn't mean this, it means this. But also it helps you to self-improve. The other thing, I was a recruiter in Houston for a company, and we did construction site folks. And so I was doing a lot of getting folks skilled labor to build skyscrapers, things like that. And my thing was I would always have them in for an interview kind of prep thing. So I would tell them as much as I knew about the company they might go work for, what the hiring manager is looking for, all these different pieces to kind of train them up, because I wanted them to get that job, right? So if you're working through a recruiting or a staffing agency, they might be able to help you in interviewing, and they might be like, hey, this is a weak spot when I interviewed you, what issues you had, this is what I would work on in the future. So I would ask your staffing company as well, if you're going through a recruiting agency, how can I be better in those ways?
And that's why, because my question I normally ask at the end of interviews is, if you hire me tomorrow, what would you want me to do?
Yeah, sure.
Right? Because then that makes them have to think of, how would I apply him if I hire him? And it already sets the mindset of having him working for you. All right. And it also gives you as the interviewee that understands like, oh, they're gonna make me do this. I don't know if I want to do that kind of thing. Right.
Yeah.
It kind of gives you a little insight of seeing, what could you expect out of it for you to see that. And I think that's beneficial for both sides.
Absolutely. Yeah. The other thing I just thought of, one of the things that's great about working is you're making money. One of the things that's awful about it is you normally lose free time.
Yeah.
Right? You lose some free time to be able to do things that need to get done, right? And I view it, if I looked at two different buckets, you got your family, your home life, and you got your work life. Well, this is a great time to invest in your family and home life, right? Your family is your resilience chain.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times when I did lose jobs, I would go stay with family. I would go kind of get reintegrated with them and help get back on my feet in whatever way. So take the time. You have time now, right? And that's a great resource. You might not have as much money in that moment, but you do have time. And time can be turned into dollars in some way, shape, or form. And that might be fixing something you hadn't fixed or taking care of something in your life that you need to take care of that you didn't have time to do previously. So in some ways, it is a blessing to your personal life because you get the opportunity to invest back into that, right?
I agree. I think there's a lot of components you can do that. You also can take time to focus on yourself, right?
Totally.
So it's like if there's something you want to learn, like we talked, this is a career shift, right? It's like you didn't like your job before and you wanted to go into computer science or go in these different directions. You can take that time and like kind of learn a little more of the skills. I mean, you're still applying for stuff, but you're picking up these skills. You're understanding what currently is the thing in the market, right? Yeah. And like, what do you need to show off where you're at? And that's like PM work, right? Getting your PMP. PMP is a huge thing you can get. Yes, it is going to be an upfront cost on it, but it will stand out over a lot of other people for that. Yeah. So
you're investing in yourself. That's a good dollar spent.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes. Investing in yourself is important, right? Always keep investing in yourself. Even when you have your job and you're working it, you need to find time to do that and continue to grow your skills.
Exactly.
Stagnant is bad in a way that, A, if you lose your job, it's hard to find another. B, company-wise, it's like you're working with a company, you're never showing your skills are developing, you're never showing you're trying to get better at things. They may look to lay you off because you're just not providing that value anymore, right?
Sure. I mean, and not to get, I don't want to go too far in this, but like right now we live in a time where AI is changing the way we do everything, right? And so investing some time right now into understanding how you can utilize AI to improve your work or personal life is I think one of the most valuable things you can do right now. I mean, we're in the office right now. We talk about AI. We're talking Claude. We're talking Grok. We're talking Chat GPT. What's improving? Why they taking my co-work tokens all the time? Like, how come I'm burning all these tokens? Mark, our producer's behind, like, CJ, you're using all the tokens. I'm like, I'm a token guy. I like the tokens, okay? Give me more of these tokens.
They cost money, though.
That's right. They cost some dollars, but that makes me real smart, okay?
So let's head to our next one here. We've talked about if you made a lot of money. We talked about if you lose your job and you're losing money.
Yep.
Now let's talk about the golden handcuffs. This is where somebody has a job. Let's say they're making $200K. They're living a lifestyle of dreams, but they hate their job. They hate what they're doing, but they like that lifestyle.
Yeah, sure.
So you just stuck in that position of, what do I do? Do I just quit my job and go take something that's less that makes me happier? How do I prepare myself to do that? Or how do I make it so I enjoy it, right? This is a world that a lot of people are falling into. And it may not be 200K. It may be 100, 120 working one of these finance jobs that is just brutal on them, but they're getting paid a lot, so they're able to do this stuff extra. So CJ, what would you do if you have a 200K job and you hated it and you wanted to change?
It's tough. You build the lifestyle that you're looking for, and then once you find that you got there and you realize it sucks, you don't want to do it. There's actually there's this, I don't know, analogy, story, whatever you want to call it, but there's a guy. You're the guy. You're sitting on the beach.
Guy.
You're the guy. You're on the beach.
The guy.
You're drinking beer every day. You're fishing every day.
Coronas.
You're having a great time on the beach, right? I walk up to you. I'm a whiz kid on the finance side. I know all the things you need to do so that you can make millions in the finance
You look like
industry.
a guy that would sell me some crazy
That's
stuff.
right.
Too,
I walk up to you and I say, hey, buddy, why don't you come learn how to do this with me? We'll spend 20 years. We'll make millions of dollars. And we'll then go and do whatever we want with ourselves, right? And that might be drinking a beer and fishing, right? And he's like, I'm already here.
Yep.
I'm already doing the thing I want to do, right? So making 50 grand a year and spending 40 grand a year and saving 10 and living the life that you love and the things you want to do every day might be more valuable to you than making 200 grand a year and spending $190,000 a year, and you have the nice SUV and the nice car and the Gucci sneakers or whatever it might be. And the moral of this story is the fact that you get to build the life that you want and chase the dreams. And sometimes you can get to the thing that you want to faster, and you don't even need all the extra stuff to get there.
Yep. And I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can look into it. I think the first thing is just understanding you fall into that. And sometimes you may not even recognize that you fall into it, right? It's like the net zero trap where you're making 250,000, but you're spending 245,000 every year. It's like, you're not saving money. You're spending it lavishly. I mean, I don't know what you're spending it on if you're making that much money. That's crazy on its own that you're not saving money. So there's a lot you have to figure out to that level. And then there's the big one that's identity versus income, right? You work this job and you work 12, 14 hours a day on this job. You're doing all this work for it. You kind of lose your identity of who you are because you're trying to make this money and you're doing this for this money, right?
Yeah.
So then when you ever get out of it, you're just like, who am I? And the other one you run into is the bonus cycle. This one is probably the most common for a lot of people. This is where you're working, you hate your job, but you're like, but in 6 months, I'm going to make a 10K bonus. I can wait 6 months. Or the other big one right now for the banks is the stocks. A lot of them are doing non-vested stocks where you work for 1 year, you get X amount of stocks.
Sure.
Hey, if you stay for another year, we're going to give you even more. Oh, if you stay another year, you're going to get more. Oh, if you leave this year, you're going to lose some because you're leaving early. So it's like understanding timing. You get stuck in this cycle of like, if I leave, I lose this money. And you just need to accept you're going to lose money if you leave. It is what it is. Yeah. Right. And taking that and overriding it will make you happier in general, where you're not relying on those components.
Yeah. And when we talk about, I think, golden handcuffs, what we really mean is like, you've created a lifestyle where you're trapped to your job. You can't leave it and continue that same lifestyle. Right. And so I think Dylan and I were talking about this last week on the show, but there's this idea of like, you build your life in a way that works for you. And so Dylan and I are very different, where I have a house. I drive 40 minutes away to get to my house. We have a nice neighborhood with a safe community. There's a bunch of kids. There's literally always 10 kids in my driveway playing basketball, and I show up to that every time. And it's great. I love it. You know, I didn't think I was going to love it as much as I did, but you know, I've really built this kind of family and community around my area, and that's been really impactful for me. Where Dylan lives 5 minutes away from the
driving,
office.
you're kind of crazy.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't really want a car, right? He wants a bicycle or a skateboard or whatever to commute locally. He's got all kinds of restaurants. Everything he needs is close to him in the city, and I think that's valuable because he created this life that he really, really enjoys, and that's wonderful for him. He's not going to buy a house; he rents.
Yeah,
and he's cool renting and putting that money in that spot, and that's the lifestyle he's chosen for himself, and that's not bad. It was his choice to do that, and he's very happy with that. And I'm also happy with the decisions I've made, so it works for me. So it doesn't have to be the same for everybody, but what does matter is he made decisions to get to where he wanted to get. I made decisions to get to where I wanted to get. I could have made the wrong decision. Maybe I make the decision where I don't even know how I would do this. We have 2 golden retriever dogs. We have a 1-year-old boy. His name is Luke. He's amazing. My wife. If I said, hey, we're just going to live in an apartment in downtown, right? And Luke's going to suffer in some ways because of that, because it's a different environment. Maybe good, maybe bad. I don't know what the suffering's going to look like, but it'll be an adjustment, a change. Yep. The dogs are going to have, adjustment change. My wife's going to have an adjustment or change. Maybe it's more expensive to live in the city.
Hey, you won't have snakes in your basement again.
That's right. And I got snakes in the crawl space, so I wouldn't have to deal with that. And so, but there's different pieces to this puzzle where if that was the decision I made and then I realized I made a mistake, I think what's important is to realize you made that mistake and be like, hey, honey, I'm so sorry I moved us this apartment, and I know that I love it for these reasons, but I hate it for these reasons, and I want to change it because of this. And yeah, you just own that and say, hey, I'm going to swallow my pride and say, I made this mistake. We need to readjust. Let's try and do this other thing. Maybe we move back out, buy another house, whatever it is. Yep. And obviously it took some money and time, but at least you learned what you liked. Maybe you buy a boathouse. You're like, yo, we're going to Myrtle Beach. We're buying a boathouse. We're buying a big boat, whatever. We want the boat to be able to move. We're going to sail around the globe, right? And then you buy the boat and you do it for a month. You're like, yo, I hate this life. Yes. It's okay to change and go back on that, right?
It kind of falls into do a lifestyle audit.
Yeah.
Kind of concept, right? Yeah. Look at your lifestyle and be like, what do I like and what don't I like, right? Understand, then cut the stuff you don't like. Why are you doing it if you don't like it? Or if you like it, how can you do it a little bit cheaper? Right? Maybe you don't have to own the boat. Maybe you just rent a boat kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you save money doing that because boats are holes.
Dude, honestly, I might be a boat guy. I might be a live on a boat guy. I think one day, I'd be about that. Now, I don't think my wife would do that, but I think I might be about some stuff like that. And that sounds fun. I have a lot of friends that are car salesmen, working for Mercedes, Lexus, high-end car salesmen folks. And I just ran into kind of this circle of guys and hang out with them pretty often. And one of the things I found when I'm listening to them, they talk a lot about the sale of the car story. Yeah. Right? And we've talked about it on this show numerous times. I mean, car loan debt has gone up tremendously because the average value of the car has gone, the average price has gone up. The value hasn't really gone up, right?
It's crazy to me to think that a Kia Optima is $40,000 now.
It's crazy. Yeah, exactly. The median price of a car is $50,000 for a family right now, which is nuts. So that means that they have a $750 car payment, right? Now, I'm good with it. If that's the car you have to have, if you have to have that in your driveway for whatever reason, for the lifestyle you are trying to build, to the things you are showing to other people, go for it.
Yeah.
There's another option. You don't have to buy that. You can buy a $13,000 Ford Explorer. It's going to run great, take care of it, be nice to her, change her tires, do the oil, and fill her up with the good gas, whatever it might be. And you might get just as much out of that car. Yeah. Now, you might not be as cool, right? But ultimately, I think it does not matter what the other people think. What matters is you managing the life that you want. And I think the people that do that best don't care what others think about them. Yep. They just manage the pieces they need to manage. And the people that love them and care about them are going to do that the same either way.
You should always target to be happy.
Yeah.
Right? And if making a lot of money is your target that brings happiness, hey, man, good for you. Go for it. But from my understanding, a lot of people that I've met, it's not the answer. You just keep chasing something that doesn't exist, and you keep pushing it, and it doesn't help you. And anything, it does worse for you as time progresses, right? So recognizing that you are in this golden handcuff.
Dude,
block,
$750,000 my car payment every month. Yeah. Dude, how am I going to afford this? Correct. What do I got to do?
And it's taking that and understanding, hey, I can't do this.
Yeah.
This is not me. Start looking at doing it. And it's not like a tomorrow, I'm not going to do this anymore, right? It's just taking the steps like you're saying, right? If you see that your car is here, you don't need, get rid of it, right? Like sell it, get something cheaper so it's more affordable to that long run.
Yeah.
If you're paying $6,000 on a penthouse in someplace that you don't necessarily need because it's like you barely look out the windows kind of thing, right? Now, granted, you don't want to break your lease, but if your lease is ending, look for something that's cheaper, right? Like try playing the game of just like an exit strategy of paying attention to how long it would take you to get out and being less bills. So then when you do leave that job to go something else, you're not getting hit hard.
Yeah.
And also then you can start taking the money you are making, saving a lot of it.
Yeah.
And like, so you're just building your retirement funds, your emergency funds, right? You're building all this up. So then when you do leave, you have such a cushion from when you were at that job. So it's not a negative that you're at that job, right? It has that positive component to it. You just weren't super happy. So you want to go now to the happy part of life.
Yeah. And having planned for those dollars. I mean, you can make it, and I move it. This becomes the fire movement for me almost every time where it's like, yo, if I want a great deal of suffering, if I just want to, I'm eating salt for dinner. Like if I want to like go extreme, like
Man, he didn't even go for pepper. He just did salt.
I just salt for dinner, right? And I do that for 10 years. I'm going to save a bunch of money on food. Okay, my kidneys might hurt a lot, but I'm going to
I think you're gonna have kidneys after, but like, hey, you know what?
But if you choose to go through a great deal of suffering to cut your costs all through your 20s and you save as much money and you put that in a good spot, your 30s and 40s might be better.
Yeah.
Right? But if you don't do that, and you choose to spend every dollar you have through all of your 20s, guess what? You're going to reap the rewards of that, which is zero. And so you have to know that whatever you're going to experience suffering. So you might experience suffering when you're 70s because of the decisions you made in your 20s, but you might experience it less. Right? If you experience the suffering in your 20s when you're stronger, when you're younger, when you have more mobility, when you have all those things, then your 70s are going to be really good. And so being able to sacrifice early on and have that delayed gratification is very, very important.
And like, I understand people may not have that opportunity, right?
Sure.
Some people may not go to college. They may running a retail low end job. They're just not making the money with it, right? But at the end of the day, saving $20 gross. Right.
Totally. Every week.
You can just keep
Dude,
saving
$80 a month saving as a 20-year-old?
That's a lot.
Is insane. It's so good.
It grows crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's so minor to what you need to do, right?
Yeah.
It's like you just got to budget slightly to be able to make that happen.
Yeah, dude.
And also that just kind of teaches you. So when you are making more money, you understand how budgeting kind of works, right?
Sure.
So then you can start increasing it. So it's like, I know we talk a lot about these massive numbers, but even on low numbers, you can take the same advice and just do a lesser amount, right?
Yeah.
I know 200,000 job, a lot of people aren't going to have. I think an $80,000 job, 60,000, way more feasible for people, right?
Sure.
And it's like understanding you still need to go these same steps. You still need to follow the same process to, regardless how much you make, to make it. It may not be this penthouse, but maybe be 2,000 in one apartment, it's 1,000 another, but it's 2 miles down the road. That 2 miles isn't much.
Yeah.
And saving $1,000 is a lot.
It is.
Right. So you might as well, like, that's the stuff you need to look at.
Yeah.
Right. Pay attention to your expenses and understand. Don't just go month to month expecting greatness.
Yeah.
That's not going to come.
And there's a balance here. Mark talks to me about this more than anything else because I'm a saver at heart. Right. So like I love to save. It's like I feel so good when I save.
See, I'm the opposite. I love spending.
Oh,
and it's like fighting that and fighting the urges and understanding like the electric bikes. I want another electric bike so bad.
Yep.
But I fight myself every time. That's like I look at it, I see it's $4,000 and it's like it's only $4,000, right?
Yeah, sure.
And then I sit there and think about it. And it's like, I really don't need to be, I can't be spending this type of money. It's just doesn't, it's not worth it, right? Like, what's the value it's going to give me?
Yep.
Right. So it's like literally just sit on it, sit on any decision with it, especially for spending components and understand like, is it going to actually value your life?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think part of this is like, you have to enjoy the journey too.
Yeah.
So I'm not telling you, obviously I'm a saver, so I say the saver things. I think you should enjoy life. I think there are times you have to spend money to enjoy life in those things. And I'm not hating on this $200,000 person and them enjoying their life and doing the things they want to do. I think that's amazing. I do think you have to be able to put some money aside so that you can enjoy life in a bigger way in retirement, I think that's ideal for everyone. But I don't think you should go through the whole journey of not ever taking a vacation, of working consistently and not enjoying your life, enjoying people around you.
Balance, and it's very important, right? You need to be able to be happy at what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you also, even if you're not, you need recuperation.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
Vacations are huge for that, visiting family, whatever, right? It's like recuperation helps your mindset and helps you just do better.
Yeah.
Overall. All right, CJ, let's hop into some questions here.
I love that.
I have a great one for you.
I'm scared now.
I'm so excited.
I don't want to do this. I got to go. Cut the show.
What's the one thing most people get wrong when facing any kind of sudden money or sudden job loss?
Yeah. I think it's outlash of emotion. I do think you need to talk to somebody. I think you should let your anger out in some ways. Maybe going in one of those anger rooms and just destroying some stuff, right?
Not in a bottle.
Yeah.
A bottle's not good.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to get to is I think people turn to different things that can solve it. Pills, alcohol, some kind of paraphernalia, pornography, whatever it might be. Yeah, there's vices everywhere. Whatever your vice is, it's not going to solve it.
Yep.
It is a symptom of the pain that is inside the heart, right? And so you have to let that pain out, right? And there are healthy ways to do that. Run 10 miles. You're going to be tired after that. You've got it out of you, right? But you got to experience the anger, and it's okay to feel those emotions. What's not okay is to let it destroy you further. And when you let it destroy you further, it's not good.
Or hold it and let it build up, and then you lash out, and now you're ruining friendships, or now you're ruining things because you let things build up inside of you.
Yeah, and that's like the number one rule I think everybody makes that they break on that one is, and it makes it worse.
Yep.
And it's already a bad time. I'm not saying this is like it shouldn't be 7 minutes of heaven, right? You're not like at the party making out with the hot girl. Like that's not a thing, right? It's
be concerning
it's pain.
if it was.
It's pain, right? So we're going through pain, and so manage those pain. Talk to your friend, vent about it, get it out.
And I don't. No, I'm not saying don't go to a bar and have some drinks or something, right? Because I mean, it's
don't drive home.
People do, right? Don't drive home, but also don't sit there and slam.
Yeah,
a bottle, right? Like you don't need that level. But
tomorrow's going to be harder than
relaxing. Yeah. Oh my God, the hangover's going to be a nightmare on its own.
Yeah.
But it's also just venting the frustration, but understand that that's what you're doing, and don't make it. Well, I'm going to go tomorrow too.
Yeah.
I'm going to go next day too. Like it's you don't want that reputation of drinking constantly, right? Exactly. So it's like make sure you manage that. That's the number one thing I see a lot of people do. And then like you said, you have the paraphernalia, the drugs, all that stuff that happens, and it's like avoiding all that as much as possible. I know I said that wrong, but hey, words are words.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to ask you one.
All right.
This one's going to be hard for you. Okay, I'm just going to let you know to begin with, and I want you to be honest.
Oh God.
With who you are and what it is.
All right, let me prepare myself.
If money and job stress disappeared tomorrow, what would you want your life to look like?
If money and job stress disappeared tomorrow,
what would you want your life to look like?
That is a hard question for me.
I know. That's why I picked it for you. I'm curious. I'm actually more curious of the answer than anything else. It's okay.
I think following happiness, following enjoyment. I've been picking up more into 3D printing and 3D modeling and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure.
And I do enjoy the challenges and do enjoy everything it presents. And it is super fun, right? So it's like that's such a passion that I'm kind of growing. My problem personally is like my passions constantly rotate, right? I always find something new I enjoy. I also am one of the people that I'm trying to better myself from not being angry and stuff all the time, right? And when I say that, I hold, like I was saying earlier, I hold it in, and then there's moments where it just lashes out, right? And it's like not doing that and just being happier. And I think that's the biggest thing is like in my head, it's a lot of the stress of money, of job, of all these things. And if we remove that, then it's like you're just instantly going to be more happier, right? Mm-hmm. Like you don't have to worry about this stuff. That's great. Like that's 80% of the worries on its own. Mm-hmm. So being able to get rid of that and then find happiness in the small things, take time to do things I want to do, get better at things, right? There's just so many different avenues. That's a hard question to answer because there's so many different directions it can go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But end of the day would be focus on myself and be happier.
Mm.
Target that happiness. Find what the thing you enjoy doing and do that.
You're a tinkerer. You want to tinker with stuff.
Yes.
That's what it looks like. It looks
I
like you
enjoy
tinkering with stuff.
I love fixing broken things.
Yeah.
Mark is our producer, is my backup when it comes to that. He's the super nerd. I find myself as the regular nerd.
You're a nerd, bro.
We talk and we'll just conversate over things and figure things out, designing stuff, figuring out how to make things happen, building these studios, right? It is such a fun passion that it is enjoyable. And then it's like, when you're not doing it, there's a hole.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the part that hits me. It's like, I'm not doing that stuff. I run this hole of like, my enjoyment I'm not doing, and I hate it. Mm-hmm. And so it's like trying to find ways to do it more would be beneficial.
Agreed. It's nice.
Let me hit you with this one.
Okay.
We talked these topics. Yep. We talked about making a lot of money, losing your job, golden cuffs, all these different items. What if you're nearing retirement when this stuff happens, right? Now, the golden cuff one's a little bit different on that one. Let's say you either make a lot of money or you lose your job and you're close to retirement. What do you do?
What do you do?
Do you take an early retirement, or do you find something that fills in for a little bit?
I think
because
retirement doesn't happen overnight. It's not like you get to flip a switch and decide that you're ready for retirement.
You just broke every hope in my body that's how that works.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, what we see a lot in the finance world is that folks are doing a lot of stuff right. They do a lot of pieces right. There's just like little things that they kind of mess up, right? So nobody falls into this historic, like this really negative category, but like you can live on, so if you've worked your whole life, you can live on Social Security. Now, I say live, like you're not going to live lavishly. You're going to live tight. You know, you're going to eat salt for dinner.
I hope it's salted ham, but like...
Yeah. And I say that like salt is, you know, you're going to put rice on salt. Yeah. So you're going to eat it. Whatever. Salt on rice, whatever. And so like, it's not, but I think retirement is made in the planning for it, right? When my time horizon is 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, I can have a lot more time. When my time horizon is 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, well, I'm not going to be able to do as much with it, right? I'm going to have to make a lot of right decisions over here. And if you go through your whole life spending every dollar you have, one of these bad crisisy things happens, it's going to get worse. You have to make some good decisions before this moment. And if you don't make any good decisions before this moment, it will be painful. And I don't say that to be like doom and gloom, because like I said, you can live on Social Security. It's just not going to be fun, right? So you're not going to have a fun retirement. You're going to have to find hobbies that are really cheap. You're going to go to national parks, right? You know, you're going to sleep in a tent. I don't know. Like, I'm not saying you won't have a place to live, but I'm saying that like your vacation, you're not going to Italy. You're not going to have the nice restaurant in the Italian cuisine capital of the world. You know, like you're not going to do those things. And like, that's okay. Know that when you make the bad decisions through your 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
And so when you walk in the office and you're like, hey, I have $100,000 and I want to retire tomorrow. Well, I'm like, well, you're going to get an extra $450 a month from an annuity that I can get you, and you're going to have Social Security, and you probably need to work a little bit longer, honestly. You know, like you're probably not even ready for Social Security. Yeah. And so like, that's not like a mean thing, but it's just like
reality.
Yeah, it's just reality. And so like, my caution to you is if you walk into the office and ask me that question, like it's going to be really hard, and we'll figure it out. It won't, you're not going to die, you know, you're not going to be homeless. I think you'll have those things, but it will be challenging. So don't put yourself in that spot. Make good decisions now. The things that we've talked about are a lot of these good decisions, and get yourself to a place where you are going to be okay in the future, you know?
That makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and hit you with another one.
Let's do
this one actually fits you more than it fits me.
Yeah.
And then maybe our last one, see how it goes.
Okay.
How do you talk to your kids or spouse about your job loss? How do you, so let's say you lose your job today. How are you going to go talk to Sarah about it?
Oh, man.
Because you can't just walk in and be like, hey, honey, our job's gone.
You got to go to work. I think as men, we get to make decisions for our families that impact them. Sometimes those impacts will be negative, and sometimes they'll be positive. Like if I looked at Sarah and I said, hey, we're going to move an apartment downtown. We're going to try a new life. It's good. that's a decision that's going to impact her. And she might not even agree with that decision. She might be like, no, we're not going to do that. Being brave and being vulnerable are like hard things to do at times. I think it can involve tears. I think it can involve pain. I don't think you can avoid some of those things. And I've always been a person that's like, if anybody will tell you, I'm like very blunt. So I will say the most painful thing in a way, not trying to be mean and painful, but like it has to be
Just
said.
say it, yeah.
We just have to say the thing. Because if we do not say the thing, everyone just thinks the thing and we never talk about the thing. And so I think you just say it. Say, bad day today.
Yep.
Honey, I love you. We're going to have to go through a little bit of transition here to try and figure out what the future looks like because I lost my job. And here's all the little nuances of that. Let's take tonight, kind of be somber about it, pick ourselves up. Tomorrow we'll be angry. We'll get through that phase, and then we'll go on to what the greener pastures look like. And I think that whole process is important to go through. And I don't think you can rush it, by the way. If you ignore some of those things along the way, it will be worse for you.
Yeah.
You cannot ignore those things. So make sure that you take the time to go through all the pieces of that and then prepare yourself financially. Like I said, if you do not have an emergency fund and you got to jump on it tomorrow to find the dollar, guess what? That's what you got to do. You should have had an emergency fund. If you don't have an emergency fund, you got to go call everybody,
Get that grind.
hardship funds, unemployment, find some contract work immediately, whatever.
Do what you
it
have
is.
to do to support your family.
Exactly. And you're going to have to fight through that. But my caution to you is don't let it get to that spot.
Yeah.
Be prepared when you make it to that moment that you know exactly what your plan
Especially in
is. Especially
today's scenario, it's like,
Yeah.
jobs and markets are constantly changing dramatically.
Yeah.
Right. I agree with you. I think the big thing is just say it, but don't be rude about it. Don't be I can't say the word here, but don't be completely rude, like mean about it. And also like in a private conversation, right? You don't want to be like out at dinner and be like, hey, honey, I know we're all out here, but guess what? Right. It's like just have that opening emotional conversation. Like I said, just expect that it's probably going to be emotional, especially if that is the sole income for your family.
Yep.
And then have that and then figure out your next steps.
Exactly.
Right. Have that conversation. Be like, what do we need to do next?
Yeah.
Start looking for jobs. You may have to do a few things as well, like to kind of recuperate for the time being. It's just figure out the plan, figure out your next steps, and then just hit the road running. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. This has been a really all-encompassing episode. We started with you're getting an inheritance, you're going to have lots of money, don't squander that, right? And then we ended with the painful things of what can happen in the back end of this. And so, this is a full circle conversation when we look at finances because everything kind of touches everything else. So that's why we're here in the Wealth Help Desk. We want to talk through all these different pieces. Ultimately, you should go and explore these conversations. What would you do if you lost your job tomorrow? You should explore that conversation. You talk to your spouse about it. You talk to your friends about it, your family. What should I do? Where should I prepare to be able to be good for that spot if it does happen?
Yep.
Same with retirement. Same with whatever your hopes and dreams are in the world. And we want to be able to support people in those decision-making processes.
Planning is super important.
That's
basically where we come out of this whole thing. You should always plan for everything.
Yep.
Plan for your retirement, plan for job losses, plan for what you want to do in your life, right? And having that plan, having that goal will make it so any of these impacts don't hurt you as bad.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
You lose your job, you're prepared. You get more money. You're somewhat, I don't think anyone can technically plan for that. But hey, at least you understand what you should do if you obtain that money, right? And if you're not happy with your job, how you need to plan to get out of it, right?
Exactly.
That's the important thing that comes out of this episode.
Yep, exactly.
Is how you need to move and how you need to proceed.
Yep. And we're here every Wednesday. Today's April 29th. We will be here in 7 days at 10 a.m. to talk to you once again. Thanks for joining us here on the Wealth Help Desk. We'll see you next week. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and put your questions down there. Mike wants to answer them. We want to answer your questions. Have a good day. Love you. Bye.